Thank you for staying with us. Let's begin with politics and the race for the 2023 elections. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has prayed for more smooth and peaceful transition, urging people to disregard evil predictions of anarchy and violence usually thrown out during election seasons by fake prophets and enemies of the country. Speaking at the 23rd Annual Thanksgiving organized by the First Family of Lagos in conjunction with the Ministry of Home Affairs at Tafawa Balewa Square, Lagos, Governor Sanwo-Olu enjoined residents to continue to keep faith with his administration, saying his government has lived up to the excellent spirits associated with Lagos State. First of all, let's start with these naysayers. A lot of people, it's not even prophecy of, doomsday, I won't call the doomsday prophets. It's not the negative prediction about the election now. It's being partisan. Some people, they've thrown caution into the air. That pulpit is to use to launch, campaign and attack, opponents of your political destiny. And some people, they've used the church, Christianity as a ground for campaign, and some have decided to use the other faith, Islam, to like a counter campaign. Now, all this is, we're not talking about the interest of Nigerians. So we see a lot of these prophets, and they started their predictions again.
Yeah, well, every 4 years, it's actually a time for some people to renew their popularity as prophets and clerics. And every time we say it, that we must still find a way of keeping religion out of our politics. Unfortunately, it's not so. And we are seeing them. You call them naysayers, you call them prophets of doom, you call them this. But the worrisome part of it all is that none of their prophecy talks about the goods that will come to Nigerians. It's always about this particular person will not get there. And these prophecies or predictions are never backed with any form of facts or hypothesis. Nothing. It is just their own opinion translated
into... claim that the Spirit of God...
But you claim
the Spirit of God. And 2 weeks after the election, we discovered that that person that you predicted that will win the election will end up not winning.
In 2019, we saw many of these predictions. Some of them lied low for a while, only to bounce back later. They had it again. What I'm telling you is that they will claim, that's the right word, they will claim the Spirit of God. But God is never an author of confusion. Who will tell this Mr. Hay, Billy Aminu will lose, and tells Mr. D, this one will lose? No. It is the personal opinion of individuals that they package and present to Nigerians. But we must continue to hammer on the fact that religion and politics should not walk side by side, because it will, in the long run, not favor us as a country.
A particular pastor went ahead to say, don't vote for bloodthirsty people. Don't vote for killers. Don't vote for vipers.
On the pulpit.
Out of all our candidates, I was checking out who is the killer, who is the bloodthirsty
certified hired killer.
One of the downsides of democracy is the fact that nobody wants to pick up the man and ask him to explain further whether he knows those killers.
I was going through the list of 80 candidates. Who is the convicted killer?
In a non-democratic setting, in a dictatorship,
that won't happen.
This man will have been picked up
to explain what he knows,
to verify or to provide proof of the vipers and the killers, since he's so familiar with them. And he knows exactly
he must know them,
who they are. But unfortunately, we are in a state of disbelief. That's what I call it, because people are using the pulpits basically for personal aggrandizement, which is unfortunate, because faith has helped a lot of people in the last 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 years. But now we are using it basically as a tool of oppression and a tool of political choice, which to me is unfortunate. But you and I know, like you said, that immediately after the elections in March, we hear a new song coming out that It's because they prayed hard. That's why it didn't happen the way they projected.
And then we must also know that
So don't forget that
this is business for some of these people. When
They
they predict, I have one of them as a friend. I can recall how I used to invite journalists, and they will put down all the names of candidates, and they will start asking, how strong is this one in this area? And it's just like somebody wants to write a feature story. And he will ask questions. At the end of the day, he will ask everybody, do you think it's safe to say A will win if, or B will lose if? Permutations.
Political analysis.
Political analysis. At the end of the day, he will interpret it to be the voice of God, heard only by him. And he will throw it out. Eventually, these things don't go that way. And he will come out and say,
Tibetan. That France is going to win that World Cup.
Yeah, going to
France is
mentioning names.
But
I recall this person I'm talking about in 2019 saying the opposition candidate was going to win with because of certain things, and the election came. And the man lost. And 3 or 4 days after the election, he rushed to explain how his prediction came to pass. And I had to call one of his aides. How? He said because 24 hours before the election, he said if the other people will pray very well, the situation can be averted. And they must have prayed very well.
Remember the book now, Wale Soyinka in the 60s?
Yeah.
The Trials of Brother Jero.
Trials of Brother Jero.
Brother Jero said something that I like very well. Yeah. He said his favorite prophecy is telling a man that is going to die. That if he didn't die, fine. And if he's dead, he's not coming back.
Can I argue with him?
To get his money back. So that's the way it works. It's what we call head I win, tail you lose. Either way,
the prophet wins.
It's amazing.
He'll tell you, look, because they prayed, now we have averted, we're able to have.
No, that's the go-to response. It was his intervention.
And then you know that some of these politicians actually take them so serious.
No, they have
that they go to them.
Spiritual
they go to them for spiritual
it's because of the level of our poverty, basically.
Are the politicians too poor?
Yeah.
They're poor, mentally anyway.
They don't have spiritual fathers. They go to them at night.
I know.
And they say you will lose this election if you don't come. And he will rush down. And after the exchange of some good...
I won't tell you one that is very funny. Somebody told a friend of mine that is the sisters that after him, the guy was an only child. So he said he waited for 3 hours.
So let's go to Sanwo-Olu in Lagos State now. And Governor Sanwo-Olu is saying he has lived up to the excellent spirit associated with Lagos State.
Well, I think...
the second time.
Yeah, well, sincerely, look, AY, with the fear of sounding partisan, I want to say that I think in all fairness to Lagos, and not to Sanwo-Olu. Sanwo-Olu has performed creditably well. He came at a time when there are so many issues as per governance. You will recall how immediately after he came, we had the COVID-19. Shortly after that, there was the EndSARS crisis. And here's a man who weathered through all these crises, in my opinion, beautifully well. Then look at infrastructure. One thing I think he is doing, and he's doing well, is following what appears to be a pattern about the development of Lagos.
Templates, yeah.
Template, yes, but I will actually say pattern because if he had deviated from that template, it is possible that those who will even come after him will find it difficult going back to that template. Look at the rail. He became so passionate about that project that you would think he has something to personally gain from it. But he does, as a governor. If you walk around my office, and you usually, like I do, take a stroll to Kappa bus stop, and you see people at closing time, the old train will be filled up, and the rooftop of the train will be filled up, and people will be hanging. That's why you need to see it. People will be hanging on a moving train. Those are people leaving Lagos every day for the outskirts. And in the morning, you will see them coming in the same pattern. So for a governor to sit down and say, look, let's take advantage of what we have to develop that sector. He must have done a lot of thinking. And if it is the only thing, by the time it is fully operational, I'm telling you that even if it is the only thing, by the time it is fully operational, you will understand the impact on Lagos. Then look at transportation, health especially.
And another big projects that the Governor Sanwo-Olu might not give priority, that's anytime I see, it pains me. That's Oshodi, $70 million worth projects. That Oshodi terminus. No. That thing should be completed.
And I think they are working towards that. Don't forget, they're also building one at.
Irrespective of who's
they're also building a similar. They also build a similar structure at Abuleba.
Because yes, he completed that Agege flyover.
The flyover was completed.
Super flyover. You must also know that there are a lot of things begging for attention. Well, if the train we talk about is a lot of money. He cannot ignore the Oshodi we talk about. If you come to Oshodi bus terminal, the terminals at night, you will like the place.
Man,
I'm sure he will work on it.
Two things really. One of them is the fact that only one part is fully functional.
Yes.
The Oshodi aspect.
Because Oshodi is gradually getting back to the way it used to be. Dirty area boys, cars. I still pass.
But I think this train project will help to curb that. Because the place is being fenced off.
Along this axis.
The place is being fenced off.
The train you are talking about is not along the Oshodi axis. What Ayo is talking about is a project that is working at that level. And then there's nothing to say that they are moving at the same pace that they started. That's the point he was making.
Yeah, but that's exactly why I said a lot of things.
Well, I think Sanwo-Olu has done very well. Again, like you, not to sound partisan. I think because he came after a very popular governor.
Yeah.
And the governor that people saw as a grassroots man. And so it's very difficult to hit the ground running when you come after somebody of that nature. But he has managed to do it with panache, with class, for two reasons. One is he appears to be a workaholic. I'm not very close to him, so I don't know his work pattern. But he appears from afar to be a workaholic. And that's what Lagos needs. Yeah. If you are a governor of Lagos and you are not ready to work 24 hours a day, Lagos will crumble under you. Yeah. So he has been able to live up to that expectation. And don't forget, he caught COVID twice.
And
personally,
talking about the level of opposition now, since 1999 that I've been monitoring the election in Lagos, I can say this is about the weakest right now.
You know why?
The opposition? The opposition in Lagos is in opposition to itself.
My friend contested the People's Democratic Party.
The PDP ordinarily has always been the opposition in Lagos. But this time around, the PDP is divided into three.
Wow.
The Labour Party left PDP. Lagos Labour Party used to be in PDP. Check all their candidates. Not to talk about the PDP faction in Lagos that produced the governorship candidate of Labour. And the PDP faction, you know where it belongs in the PDP factions. And that faction is opposed not only to the... they are opposed not only...
We can chase these guys.
They are opposed not only to Atiku, but also to Jandor. They see Jandor as an interloper who came, snatched the ticket miraculously, and is doing wonders. But having said that, there is also those who stayed within the PDP and are insisting that, look, this man is not a PDP man. He cannot be our governor. That makes three. In that situation, what can such an opposition do?
It has been like that since 1999.
Well, but it has never been this worse. Labour Party will naturally disturb PDP in its strongest areas in Lagos for reasons we all know. Because we know that PDP has some strongholds in Lagos that will now favor the candidates of Labour more than the candidates of PDP.
To the advantage
of APC. So you can
because and then they cancel each other out.
There is something Sanwo-Olu has been able to do. I'll give him credit for this. I may be wrong, but on the surface, I think I want to give it to him. He has been able to ease the usual tension in the ruling party by maintaining a very cordial relationship with his deputy. Usually, the crisis or the tension within the room always starts from that.
No, they are friends.
But you see him, not only do they go everywhere together, they throw banters, they do this. And in the business of government, it is easy to know they are working together. And then the deputy seems to be more involved in
Powerhouse.
party affairs. And then the governor is comfortable that, my deputy, the state chairman of the party, the deputy governor, the governor, once they work hand in hand, you reduce tension in the party. There will be mongering, murmurings and all that. But if at that topmost level there is no crisis, the opposition will have no leeway.
I think the governor is such a person because he admitted that there was a time he wanted to be chief of staff. So the man now became his deputy.
Yes.
So the level of respect between them is something you can even see. So there's really no room for people coming in into a friendship that lasted over 30 years.
Yeah.